Kardori. We're now joined by Ankush Kardori, a former federal prosecutor, which is basically a lawyer representing the US government in big federal cases. Ankush, thank you for your time here on Washington Watch. Ankush, US President Trump told reporters he had the authority to pardon Maxwell. He said he has the authority to do so, but no one has asked him to do it yet. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell is, of course, in prison appealing her conviction. What do you see happening? Wouldn't really a pardon only fan those flames of the controversy further?
Yes, I think that's exactly what would happen. The idea of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell is widely opposed here in the US. A recent poll this week showed that only 4% of Americans would support that decision. So I don't think it would work out well for the Trump administration. It's a bad idea, too, as a legal matter. But also, the idea that the president would pardon the only person in prison on heinous sex trafficking charges, child sex trafficking charges, would not really help them out much. I mean, the conspiracy theory, one among others here, is that the US government at the top levels is protecting child sex predators. Now, this is not true, so far as anyone credible can tell, but the idea of Trump pardoning her would ironically be consistent with that theory.
All right, Ankush, the request now to unseal the grand jury testimony was denied by a Florida judge, but the request is still open in New York. However, the Justice Department this week said that the grand jury testimony didn't hear from victims, but just to law enforcement officials. So let's say that's released. Will that really satisfy the MAGA base?
It will not satisfy the MAGA base. In our federal criminal justice system here in the US, it is very common for prosecutors to charge a case through a grand jury by presenting testimony only from agents who worked on the case. Their job in that setting is to provide an overview of the investigation and to provide information and evidence to the grand jurors that support the allegations in the indictment and that the government intends to introduce at trial. So what that means is the testimony is focused on the defendants at issue, the charges at issue. It does not roam widely. And if something was not the subject of meaningful discussion at the trial, you should not expect to hear much of it, of anything at all about it in the grand jury. So the questions that people have surrounding this case extend beyond those two cases. And so the notion that this testimony, even if it is unsealed, which it may not be, would meaningfully advance anyone's knowledge here, it is highly unlikely to me.
Former federal prosecutor Ankush Kardori joining us here on Washington Watch. Thank you.